Gone Wild at 9:35 on Pearl.
Welcome back. The High Court has turned down activist Joshua Wong's judicial review application to lower the age requirement for candidates running in the Legislative Council election. Evelina Leung has the story.
In his judicial review application, Joshua Wong argued that setting the minimum age for LegCo election candidates at 21 is an unjustified and disproportionate restriction. He argued the minimum age requirement for election candidates should be the same as the one set for voters, which is 18. Wong wanted the government to explain why setting the age requirement at 21 is considered reasonable. In handing down his judgment, Judge Thomas Au said Wong's grounds in filing the judicial review are not reasonably arguable with a realistic prospect of success. The judge explained that the two minimum age requirements are obviously different in nature, as voters don't hold responsibilities that need to be discharged in public interest. He added the minimum age requirement for candidates is to ensure a degree of maturity for the person to carry out the functions and duty of a legislator. Judge Au added the minimum age of election candidates in many other jurisdictions has been set at 21 or even higher, so the age of 21 lies clearly within a range of reasonable alternatives. The judge added the issue on hand as political and falls within the role of the legislature. Joshua Wong said he will have to discuss with his lawyer first before deciding whether to appeal against today's judgment. He also hopes lawmakers will push for lowering the age requirement for candidates. Evelina Lang, TVB News.
Tycoon Li Ka-shing has proposed raising profits tax by 1 to 2 percentage points to help narrow the wealth gap. He, in an interview with Bloomberg, Li says the extra money should go toward health care and education and not handouts. He says the city is going through its toughest time in 20 years, adding the government's most important task is to give young people opportunities and hope. But he disagrees with higher tax rates for the rich. Li says taxing people differently would create chaos. The government responded by saying the city's simple, low-tax system is the bedrock of its success, but it would keep an open mind when it comes to broadening the tax base.
The Secretary for Security has sought to ease concerns about one-way permits that give mainlanders residency rights here in Hong Kong. This follows reports that one-way permits were sold across the border for as much as $2 million each. Lai Tung-kwok said the Immigration Department has a mechanism to handle cases over the suspected use of false information to apply for the permit. He said anyone found to have done so faces deportation and prosecution.
The head of the U.S. Federal Reserve said slowing job growth and stubbornly low inflation are compelling the Fed to proceed cautiously on raising interest rates. In her semi-annual economic report to the U.S. Congress, Janet Yellen added that global risks also warrant keeping rates ultra low for an extended period of time.
Headwinds, which include restraint on U.S. economic activity from economic and financial developments abroad, subdued household formation, and meager productivity growth, mean that the interest rate needed to keep the economy operating near its potential is low by historical standards.
The FBI has arrested an 18-year-old from the U.S. state of Indiana, accusing him of trying to join the Islamic State terror group. Akram Musleh was arrested in Indianapolis as he tried to board a bus to New York. Investigators say from there he planned to fly to Morocco and make his way to Islamic State-controlled territory. Musleh appeared in court yesterday and was charged with providing material support to the group. If convicted, he faces up to 20 years in prison. And staying in the U.S., 20 massive wildfires are raging out of control across 8 states. In California, firefighters are stretched to the limit now that 2 huge fires are threatening to merge into one.
The fire is called the San Gabriel Complex. It consists of 2 fires, the fish fire and the reservoir fire. It's a total of about 5,400 acres, 3,000 from the fish fire.
Record-shattering heat is what triggered the infernos that have inundated firefighters and forced thousands from their homes. With temperatures soaring, coupled with drought-ridden grounds, crews fear the two California fires will become one monster blaze.
Both are continuing to burn in the Angeles National Forest and San Gabriel Mountains National Monument in very steep, rugged terrain, in old fuel beds, as we would describe it, areas of the forest that have not burned in quite a number of years.
The strategy they're working, attacking the flames on the ground and in the air.
His final run right now and dropping all 12,000 gallons of that orange slurry.
With resources stretched thin, reinforcements in the form of 400 military veterans have volunteered, a big relief to those dousing flames on the front lines.
We made tremendous progress on the east side of Duarte, where the fire was able to come down. We were able to put all that fire out. Our big threat today is still that left side of the fire, the west flank.
California winds have spread the blazes from the coastal foothills to the Mexican border. The border fire has forced many from their homes in the desert community of Potrero.
All right, Chris, over to you for sports.
Thanks. Spain will have to do things the hard way in Euro 2016 after suffering a defeat to Croatia, which leaves Spain second in the group. As Tony Saban reports, the defending champs now face a potentially tricky encounter against Italy in the last 16.